Hello, good evening, and welcome to Pulse of the Week. I am Kofi Asante Mensah, your host. Tonight, we turn attention and focus to governance, diplomacy, and the economy. Three pillars that define Ghana's future, from the corridors of justice through international relations to the heartbeat of our currency. We unpack the issues shaping the headlines. This is NSG News with yours truly, Kofi Asante Mensah, and this is Pulse of the Week, the special edition on a Sunday evening, the 7th of September 2025. Just after this breather, we get into the headlines. All right, so you're welcome back, and this is Pulse of the Week, the Sunday evening edition, the 7th of September 2025, with yours truly, Kofi Asante Mensah. And we begin the headlines this evening in Tamale, because Professor Alidu Seydou Mahama has emerged victorious in the NDC primaries for the Tamale Central primaries, setting the stage for the upcoming by-election. I want us to take a good look at what happened in Tamale and what the EC plus what Professor Alidu Seydou said.
Professor Seydou Alidu polled 840 votes. 840 votes. Marema Nama Salifu got 5 votes. By this vote, and going by the simple majority, it is my pleasure to declare Professor Seydou Mahama Alidu as the candidate-elect for the NDC for the parliamentary election in Tamale Central.
I want to pray for our departed MP, Honorable Murtala Mohammed. May he rest in perfect peace. I want to thank my co-aspirants. They have been very humble in the way they campaigned, very generous in the statements they made, and very reconciliatory, even where people believe they have done things that wasn't deserving. So I think the way we have started, it is important that we continue with this tone of reconciliation, and then we work together as a party to be able to win the seat for the NDC.
All right, so that was the clip for you. And the same week, we witnessed a lot of political stories. And Professor Alidu Seydou, congratulations to you. Of course, Tamale Central is a done deal. The New Patriotic Party is not coming to contest that. And of course, even if they were, I'm not sure they're going to make it. But it's a done deal for you, and congratulations. We'll meet in Parliament. Still in politics, NDC General Secretary Fifi Fiavikwete has hinted that the party has names of bigwigs cutting deals with corrupt officials of the previous government, a revelation that could shake the political landscape or the landscape of this country. Let's take a listen to what General Secretary Fifi Fiavikwete of the NDC said.
If it's to be done, it must be done well. And to be done well means it has to be thoroughly done, proper due diligence. The job must be properly done. And you are the noise, so you should know. If you say righteousness and justice should be the foundation, it must be. So you cannot in one breath be making proclamations that are condemning those who are on the other side, while you yourself are part of the system that want to subvert the same laws and the same constitution, the same rights things from being done. So you should be the first point of making sure things are done properly. That's the only way we can establish a society that will be truly great and strong. My first thing. My second thing is this. And Attorney General, I'm sure the pressure is mounting. We at the level of the party are picking the signals. And the signals we are picking is this: that many among us, in spite of the fact that pleas and the pressure coming from the public that things have to be done properly, punishment must be exacted, and things have to be done, some among us are busy trying to cut deals with people who are supposed to be prosecuted. Some among us are trying to cut deals. Some are becoming conduits through whom pressure is being brought to bear on people who are supposed to do what is right. I'm not mentioning names. A time may come where we may have to. A word to the wise. Some know themselves, those who are. We are hearing your names. Think again. Because this victory was achieved largely because the people of Ghana wanted the right things done. Not for deals to be cut. For them to say, okay, now that we are on the other side, we cut deals so that tomorrow you also can get a deal cut. No, it won't happen.
I love that. It's a big no. We are on a resetting agenda, and the NDC Lawyers Association must know that. That was Fiavi Kwete, General Secretary of the ruling National Democratic Congress. Spot on. I love this so much. But I think you should be going ahead to mention names. We want to know them. Please, mention their names. We want to know them. Let's do some sports here, because the Black Stars have told the sports minister they know what went wrong in recent performance with Chad in the World Cup qualifier and are determined to correct it ahead of future games. I think tomorrow they have a match. I'm not sure, is it Niger or Mali? I'm not sure. But let's watch the highlight of the Ghana and Chad qualifier. I think that happened on Thursday. They played 1-1, a draw 1-1. Let's watch the highlight.
Be looking forward to.
Early pressure coming, and defense having to be made by Celestine Akwa. Ghana here to entertain, no doubt, and we might very well see a one-sided encounter. First touch for Antoine Semenyo. Touch in there as well for Elisha Owusu. Owusu again. A little bit of space for Semenyo. A little touch in there as well for Jordaneu, who will be keen to improve upon the 5 goals he scored already in this competition. If you look at his international career, a lot more goals than that. 113 caps, 114 today, 31 international caps. Referee quickly over to instill some discipline. Celestine Akwa looks to be a danger on that left-hand side. And you can be sure that nothing more that Chad would want than to cause an upset.
Indeed, but
they played 1-1. I wasn't happy at all, and many Ghanaians were not happy at all. Maybe they would have uplifted their game tomorrow, the 8th of September, and they'll play well as they meet Mali or Niger. I'm not too sure, but I'll find out. All right. Let's do some more politics here on NSG News, Pulse of the Week, the special edition on a Sunday evening, the 7th of September 2025, with yours truly, Kofi Asante Mensah. The opposition party is meanwhile taking Canada Japan on, because Ken has gone to disclose that the NPP flag bearership race is becoming quite intensive with money, because they are asking for some 4 million in addition to the 600,000 they paid as filing fees. This one they say development fee, 4 million Ghana cedis. I'll play for you 3 videos. The first one has to do with Canada Japan. The second is Kwabene Japan and Adai Numo. Please watch this.
So maybe to me, I do about $20 million. Let's share the $20 million contract for 50 people, and we see how much we need to do. What you say? We need to build the party. We cannot build the party if we resolve people. Here is also no we to catch us a party team. Oh, the agency of over for more than 12 appointed position Ojao and this for the friendly. Now TV, they say any NPP team, and these same people are coming to you. You will fear who says here. Don't sell yourself cheap. Also, Nyan go Pondibo, Nipa Salibi, also be with so I be a fair offer. So, who come in your Jumaye, and now buy your Jumaya, and Poguna, and Modin, Ma Adachi, everything I'm waiting here. Ma Adachi, everything I'm waiting here. The Yami party welfare in Yami. We need to build this party. Okay? And you will some and listen. Can you believe that? A 5 contestants, what was the development fee? Obia between 4 million. 4 million because party any campaign. 80 me farm 400,000. Make farming 500,000. Now, man, me no me feel so good diakro. Inti man fa anko. I want a branch back beka buma so. Na 4 million no dey buy. Now say dey 4 million. I joke like look. And then Samewa me yama me deadline. Set on the 5th, a deadline to bring my 4 million. So I have to give them 4 million. Yes. And he filing, contesting as a flag bearer 4.6 million. What is this bill? They said, any young casa, any my contractors here. And that woman, you know, my busy for Jessica Bryan Timothy. Oh, good better on the way. Give me some. Listen. When actually 4 years, 19 years, when you make from we are all bound at the minute year the strange answer. The year people want let's develop the country and develop our party. We have to create businessmen. We have to create rich people in the party. And Gameba
Elections Committee, City.
But I'm confident in them so far.
Well, I feel and all of us will police the process.
Okay.
But BBSC, I know the emphata. My strong letter. Me person mu mama muaye ansa maka wasem. Me person ma ba bigina.
But o ma ye bibia wani anye ho nansen.
Enye mra kwan so.
Okay.
Fa party no because party no hye mra. Say wo kofa forma. Obetua 100,000.
Of course.
Say o fill form now de kwa obetua
500,000 of course.
Kambo my 600,000. Enye sika ketwa. Even national election. Yeah, to electoral commission G 100,000.
Sure.
The party. See, you see a beji 600,000. A mood.
Okay.
But ye nyantiase ka say but na binum e pese omode kosro kese pa. Am ka say ade amoye. Ghana for 8 years.
Oh, you pa.
Mu yes ade message ne de kire Ghana. Say MPP dey. Chense we sikani nkwa ansa na wachi mejina.
Yeah.
Nti wo mo hwe bibi.
Now, is it true that development fee? Because many honorable are there.
And no one sem na matro letter.
44 million Ghana cedis.
The mom responding na party now.
But was there anything like that?
There's something about development fee. Na income booklet. No one the say.
We saw almost the National Council is going to decide on the development fee.
The National Council has no role in fixing the fees.
Okay.
According to our constitution, National Executive Mikobi.
Okay.
Any fixing fees no. Inti untimi fetch the kofa fee from me slapping on aspirants.
But says you are filing the next what you.
There be mean to BBS. I met two of them National Executive ne kind. And a mature almost so.
Okay.
Timmy Chan or Mumway.
Well, so at the vetting, if they say when you are a development fee, they will disqualify you.
Party a year starting, na me count. A da year koji provisional certificate.
Now can be.
Me nam form free kukumlemle. Party office no, ye na ye take on your simple account. We young executive and sign ye to me at all.
Okay.
Nam form the call electoral commission headquarters. Any copy Bucom Square. I see que that yasi. There is a take on you. Kwame na betters no tiase. Hakma no nyina account. Any ekoye. Nti say obi per development fee. Development fee by party because na nkrofo ha certain MPs.
Okay. Yeah.
Now if you say MPs no mo na hwe constituencies dia o boane ade. Nti wo ehun say wa be ye adwuma o party no mu da. Now so be stand there. Na say need to a development fee to the party.
Okay.
Because yes sir, obi asere so ko challenge
MP.
Na ye mo ayasom party from Masabedi mu general secretary there. E dey any development.
So that means that untias yes there shouldn't be anything like that.
No. In fact, o say Heymann sabons. And ye wie sa meeting no or boss.
Things are really happening in the opposition, New Patriotic Party's camp, and 4 million. This 4 million is quite way beyond the roof. Well, I'll be interrogating my guest to find out what he also thinks about this. But finally, on sanitation and environmental action, President John Dramani Mahama has pledged youth-led initiatives and accountability measures under the National Sanitation Day program. You know, it has been relaunched. Please, let's watch this.
We must inculcate in our children the spirit and awareness of cleanliness. I remember when I was young, we had a course in basic school called civics. For 1 hour every week, we were taught the values and courtesies and how to be a responsible citizen. And so we're in discussion with the Ministry of Education to see how we can create, as part of the curriculum, a separate curriculum on courtesy and responsible citizenship.
President Mahama maintained that communal labor would only be effective with the active involvement of traditional leaders who will be empowered to sanction sanitation offenders.
I believe that in every community there's a chief. And if in every community there's a chief, we can put a sanitation court in the palace of the chief. That working together with the district assembly, people who are persistent polluters will be brought to those sanitation courts and they'll be given the sanctions that they deserve.
Metropolitan, municipal, and district chief executives will also be held accountable, as the president warned that any district that fails to prioritize sanitation risks having its leadership dismissed.
When my government came, we had a situation where more than 50% of the district assembly's common fund was being spent here in Accra at the District Assembly Common Fund Administrator's Office. And so sufficient money was not going to the districts to be able to carry out their obligations. Now, MMDCs, you have no excuse. I directed that 80% of money due to the District Assembly's Common Fund must go directly to the MMDCs. And so you can't tell me you have an excuse of lack of resources.
Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Ahmed Ibrahim, announced plans to set up a hotline to enable citizens to directly report sanitation challenges to the ministry.
A dedicated sanitation hotline will be established, enabling citizens to report public cleansing nuisance directly to the ministry. Reports will be catalogued, verified, and followed up with the relevant assemblies for immediate action.
The president of the Ghana Journalists Association assured that the media will go beyond observers and serve as active partners in the sanitation campaign.
That I declare that the Ghanaian media is ready to shift from being mere observers to active partners in solving this challenge. The GJ and its members are committed to being frontline allies in this renewed campaign. We pledge to dedicate our platforms, airtimes, columns, and website to educating citizens on proper waste management, highlighting sanitation bylaws, and celebrating those who set a good example.
The event ended with a donation from President Mahama to the Bus Stop Boys, a youth-led sanitation group encouraging more young people.
All right, so that was the relaunch of the sanitation day, and we here at NSG commend the government and promise to be part of this sanitation day every month. Yes, we'll be here to clean our host community, Amahia, and Adenta municipality, and contribute our quota to the clean Ghana we all want. Just after this breather, we outline our discussion lineup for discussion, and I introduce to you our special guest for today. All right, so welcome back. My special guest is on Zoom now. He is Frank Heymann, a senior and a seasoned international media personnel who has been working for several years. He's toured with the BBC and a couple of other international organizations. And here in Ghana, we join news and a couple of others. I must commend Oyerepa FM, Channel 1 TV, and also GTV for the videos or the insert we played. And our lineup for tonight is CJ Tokono booted out, judicial coup or due process. We'll be asking our special guest Frank Heymann what his views are on this. And also diplomacy ambassadors KPI introduced, key performance indicators has been introduced. We'll do a little bit of our economy and look at how Bloomberg is actually describing our economy. It says it's the worst in the third quarter, and we'll look at all of that. So I must say, we begin with the biggest shock wave in Ghana's governance, the removal of Chief Justice Gertrude Araba Esaba Tokono, and critics call it judicial coup, while others insist it was constitutional. What does this mean for judicial independence and the balance of power? And I think Frank is up again. Okay, not yet. Next, we'll look at foreign relations. Government has introduced key performance indicators for ambassadors. Can diplomacy really be measured like corporate performance? All right, so welcome back. This is Pulse of the Week, the special Sunday evening edition, the 7th of September 2025, with yours truly, Kofi Asante Mensah, live on NSG News. And I have my guest online now. We're going up to my guest to discuss all the topics we've lined up for discussion this evening. Seasoned media and international media practitioner Frank Heymann is on the line. Frank, good evening, if you can hear me. I think Frank can hear me, but I'm struggling to hear Frank. If the technical team could help me out, because we are going to discuss the biggest shock wave in Ghana's governance, the removal of the Chief Justice Gertrude Araba Esaba Tokono from office. Critics say...
Is it okay now? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
I have to unmute. Sorry for that. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Good to hear you.
All right, so let me use this opportunity to say good evening to your cherished, wonderful, and august viewers and listeners alike. And it's always a great pleasure to be with you, Mr. Flowers. I've been monitoring the intro, and I think let's get straight to the point. Starting with the thunderstorm that some will put it occurred earlier last week, which has to do with the official announcement from the Jubilee House of the president's decision to terminate the appointment of the suspended CJ, Mrs. Araba Tokono. Now, in terms of my initial reaction, listen, let's get it right. We are living in a constitutional democracy which is governed by law. The president is the head of state of this country, and the constitution stipulates actions that needs to be taken if you are going to, remove or take action against, the Chief Justice, the Electoral Commissioner, in terms of the senior appointment of government. So let's get it right. The president did no mistake. They went through due process for the final determination. First of all, the first step is that if the petition was submitted by a Ghanaian, all right, that's the first step. Once the petition was submitted, the president received the petition and directed it to the Council of State. After establishing the prima facie, that shows that there is some kind of investigations that need to be ascertained to assess. So the Council of State, by law, also had to discuss and take a decision, and they took the decision. In fact, from my understanding, about 80 to 90% of the members of the Council of State took a decision that the issues raised in the petition is, incriminating enough. So there must be an official investigation. So by law, where does it go through? The president was mandated to set up a committee, which was set up, you and I know. In fact, they've been meeting for so many months. All right. So from where I understand, there were a series of petitions that was presented. So the first petition was investigated. Members of the public, friends of the suspended CJ were also called to give testimony in support. Petitioners also brought in their lawyers to argue for and against. It went on for so long a time at the castle, which is the old seat of government. So after that, the constitution stipulates that they need to submit their report to the president, which was done earlier. And once it was submitted, the president took the action. So in law, the president has not erred. Everything was done within the premise of the law, and the conclusion was made. But, as a journalist or as a Ghanaian, the only question or the only concerns that I had is, Mr. Flowers, petition, there were 2 or 3 different petitions. Why didn't the presidency wait for the 2 other petitions to be presented or investigated and concluded? But it took decision on the first petition and acted upon it. That's a multi-million-dollar question. But nevertheless, let me leave it to the lawyers to argue over. But the president did no wrong, number one. Number two, I also have to emphasize that it is very unfortunate that there's been a lot of political undertones, political interpretation.
Politics of this removal. I just wrote it here, wanting to find out from you if you read politics into, because we witnessed John Dramani Mahama in opposition saying stuff about the judiciary and reasons why the NDC lawyers must also wake up to the call of reading more into the law, so that they could also be called into the hierarchy of the third arm of government, the judiciary, so they can make at par what they look so much intense that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has politicized the judiciary. So they will normalize it. That's the word they use. They will normalize it.
Well, I mean, listen, my brother, Mr. Kofi Asante, right. I don't take it away from them. They have every right, because of the precedence that has been set by the government of the former president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. There is a precedence. If Charlotte, because everybody that talks, they refer to the former EC, Madame Charlotte Osei. She was also dismissed, but the same process. If Nana Akufo-Addo has not, so he set that precedent, and that is why we always refer. If that has not happened, we will not have also see what is going on here, because the decision that was taken against Charlotte Osei was very unfortunate. It was hastily done, and trust you me, Charlotte Osei did not get the opportunity that Gertrude Sando Kotonu also went through. You understand? Charlotte Osei was treated very unfairly.
You know, Charlotte Osei is not the leader of the judiciary. That is an independent body like the Electoral Commission.
But for the Electoral Commission is also an independent body governed by law. The Electoral Commission has its own terms and conditions in terms of the appointment and in terms of the removal. You understand what I mean? So what is good for the goose is also good for the gander. So that is what I'm saying, is that even for the case of Charlotte Osei, The president did not even set an appointment committee to investigate the allegations that was raised against her. The president went directly and dismissed her from office. And that set the precedent. My brother, nobody is above the law, whether it is the judiciary, whether it is the presidency, or whether it is the parliamentarians. The law is the law, and I think that I blame President Nana Akufo-Addo for setting that precedent, because if he has gone through the ranks, I will tell you that the allegation against Charlotte Osei was frivolous and has no merit, and she will still be in office by now. Let's talk about Domelovo. The same thing happened. Somebody who is in office legally, he has not attained the age of retirement, but you use the law, and the guy also went to court, and the court says that, look, the actions that was taken against Domelovo was wrong. He should be reinstated. He won the case. This is travesty of justice. So in moving forward, let's depoliticize, because this has given so much meaning and political undertone because of the precedent that was set, my brother. And this will not help us as we pursue our political dispensation as a nation, my brother.
Are we not opening the Pandora box? Because now you've been able to remove CJ Tokono. If MPP comes into government in the next 4 years and 3.5 years, the 2028 election, if they are successful, it's obvious that the new Chief Justice who would come after Chief Justice Tokono would also be removed.
And that is the reason why I say is that, look, we need to go back to the Constitution. We need to upgrade and amend the Constitution, because there are entrenched position that it's late, it is archaic. Every constitution needs sometimes to be reviewed to meet the reality of modernity. Look at the Constitution of the United States, that's more than 200 years. My brother, yes, still, it is going through challenges. Ours is less than 100 years. So I think that the framers of our Constitution, of course, did a good job, but it's about time for us to review some of the provisions of the entrenched provisions of the Constitution. I worked with the National Commission for Civic Education. That was about 30 years ago, before I left the country abroad. You are aware. And at that time, we were educating Ghanaians about their civic right and responsibility, fundamental human rights. And one thing that what we're emphatic on during our public education is that where someone's freedom ends, another one begins. Everybody has a right under the Constitution. But the most important thing is that when it comes to the article, the senior officials, state officials, they are not immune of going wrong. And it's about time for us to review. And that is why I need to commend the current administration for the bold and decisive decision it has taken to set up a Constitutional Review Commission, CRC, which is laudable. And I'm sure, and I'm even ready to send in a petition, to call on them to review positions where some of these, positions of state, the CJ, the Electoral Commission, the president has the authority. Because trust you me, the Council of State is just there to rubber stamp every directive of the president.
And I have already sent a petition. I've sent a proposal to them on the Council of State. And
we need to follow up, because what are they doing? Yes. My brother,
and on the Council of State,
it is a bane on our Constitution. It is on the public purse. You don't really hear of them. I mean, they just sit down, they wine and dine whilst the masses are suffering. You understand? In their, they take their per diems with their V8s. You see, big allowances. You see, Council of State, that is not independent. They could the whips and cartridges of the executives.
Would we be fair if we say they are not independent? When you heard from former Chief Justice Sophia Ekufu granting TV3 an interview saying that Justice Tokono's removal is unfair.
It's because she has been a former Chief Justice. You understand? She's trying to play to the drums of her good friend. But in this Ghana, since the 1992 political dispensation, have you heard the Council of State rejecting any proposal or submission from the presidency? It will never happen. Because all of them, they are looking for future positions. They are looking for favors, largesse. They want to look good in the presidency, because you never know. And it's about time for us to think again about the position of the Council of State, whether it is still relevant in the year 2025 in moving forward. At the end of the day, you see, we have representatives from the regions represented on the Council of State. Meanwhile, we have a regional minister. We have a member of parliament from the various municipalities and constituencies of the region. And these are all, overlapping. We need to cut down on costs as we move on. There are a lot of challenges that we have as a country, and it's about time that we take action to get us bigger, mega, better, my brother.
Grateful. Let me walk you through the key findings of the committee as my producer gets ready to make an insert of what the leader of the committee, as he presented the committee's report to the office of the president, to the president of the republic. Some key findings among many are: one, unlawful expenditure of public funds. The committee held that the Chief Justice caused the Judicial Service to pay travel expenses for her husband and daughter during private holiday trips in 2023, including per diem allowances. The report stated, was an avoidable and reckless dissipation of public funds. That's the very first key findings.
Well, you see, most people will say, oh, this is nothing. We ain't quite the idea. But you see, we need, the judicial service is a very important and integral part of our constitutional democracy. Right. Okay, that is number one. Some will say, oh, this is really nothing. This is frivolous. And this does not merit her dismissal from office. But we need to set example to know that when you hold public office, you are accountable to protecting the public purse. That is number one. Number two, though you are not a superhuman, you are infallible, you need to set an example. You don't take the law in your own hands because you're in power or because you have the power. Because at the end of the day, it's going to come back to haunt you. And trust you me, the outcome of this particular investigation with the dismissal of the former CJ from office, it will set, the precedence for other elected government officials to be on their toes. They tell you, hey, even if the third highest authority of the land has been dismissed, how about me? This is, I've been following with keen interest the proceedings of the Public Account Committee. See what is going on there. And I think that people will have to realize that when you are called to serve, you are supposed to serve. When you are supposed to lead an institution, such as the judiciary, the presidency, and the members of parliament, you are supposed to serve. You are supposed to, be humble. You are supposed to, rule by the rules. And that is very important. And for me, I think that whatever it is, the lessons is what is very important for us all, irrespective of who you are, where you are, and how you are, my brother.
Don't you think charging her would have been the best way if she has unlawfully paid funds to herself or her husband and the daughter, charging her for her to pay back? Would have been a good...
Is that a constitution? We are trying, for much as I know, you are not a lawyer, my brother. I know you very well for so many years. You see, the law is the law.
Just asking questions.
You see, because if you do that, you encourage, you understand, you encourage waste, you encourage corruption, maladministration. It's a dent on the fight against corruption. Because at the end of the day, we should know the impact of corruption. Recently, the development report that was released, we are doing very bad when it comes to the fight against corruption. So for me, I think that, look, the law is the law, is the law. It has been applied without fear or favor. People can give a lot of interpretations, and I hear a lot of misinformation and disinformation. There's a difference between the two. Misinformation and disinformation. People that are talking based on political, leanings. But at the end of the day, we need to know that it is Ghana first. Wherever we are, a time will come that we will be off the stage. Our children, grandchildren will come and take up. So we need to leave that as an example so that in future, they'll always talk about 2025 when the former CJ was removed out of office by these infractions or these mistakes that she made. And others will also act based on this example, my brother.
On the 1st of September 2025 is a key historic date on our calendar because of the official communication of the removal of Chief Justice Gertrude.
It will go down in history, I'm telling you.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
The second
Yeah.
point I have over here by way of key findings is abuse of discretionary power, and says the committee found that her handling of the transfer of one Mr. Baden breached Article 296A and B of the Constitution, describing the act as misbehavior.
Of course. So, I mean, you've already outlined in your last paragraph, it is a contravention of what the article, that is the rule of law, the Constitution. So, who are we? Yourself and myself. You see, I'm not a lawyer, but the law, once again, is the law. At the end of the day, once you go contrary to the law must give its own course. You see, and these findings has been proven that indeed she erred when it comes to this particular violation. So at the end of the day, we cannot berate the members of the panel that investigated, because she was given the chance to also, give a precision or also retort or give a side of the story. And at the end of the day, these were the findings. And I hope you are not oblivious of the fact, Mr. Kofi Asante Mensah, that members of the committee are not just ordinary Ghanaians. They are experienced in their field of profession. You cannot tell me that Domelevo, former, Auditor General, is not really on top of his job. We have a fine military woman officer who is also part of the committee. Then a Supreme Court judge, Judge Pauline. Then the others. So at the end of the day, we shouldn't question the integrity of the members of the panel that was set up or appointed by the president. And I'm sure that they will not do a bad job by taking that decision, my brother.
My last one to you on this very subject, and I will raise some few things over here. Then when I finish, I'll pick an insert. Then you answer this one for me. My last question has to do with, does this move inspire confidence in the judiciary? This move, does it inspire confidence in the judiciary? I want you to take a good look at it. When I return, then you answer that for me. The third point over here is interference in judicial appointment. The report also noted that she sought to bypass the established process for nominating justices of the Supreme Court, contrary to precedent set in the Ghana Bar Association case. The committee concluded this amounted to misbehavior, recommendation and removal. Summarizing its finding, the committee declared that the Chief Justice's conduct fell squarely within the constitutional definition of quote, stated misbehavior, and therefore recommended her removal in accordance with Article 1467. I'll pick a quick video from my producer. When I return, tell me and let me know if this move by John Dramani Mahama inspires confidence in the judiciary. All right, so welcome back. Let's go to Frank and find out if this move by President John Dramani Mahama, historically, I think this was done around 1963, if I'm right, when President Dr. Kwame Nkrumah sacked the Chief Justice. And since 1963, this is the second time a Chief Justice in office, 7, has been relieved of her post. And this is quite historic. Does this reflect confidence in the judiciary, or is the other way around? Let's have your thoughts, Frank.
Okay, my brother, I need to emphasize that to me, I think that yes, it does. Because first of all, we need to know that no one is above the law. I keep emphasizing in my presentation tonight on your network. Nobody. From the presidency, to the judiciary, and of course to the legislature. Even we as media men, the fourth state of the realm, we are not above the law. And time again, consistently, we've seen that there is, the judiciary itself is not perfect. Let me cast your mind back few years ago. Our own brother Anas Anas, he did a documentary. Most people were surprised, but that's the reality. The truth is the reality. Some judges were being offered goats, you understand, to tilt cases in their favor. From there, that is where people became conscious that, look, there must be some kind of overhauling, or there should be an effort to help the judiciary get better. So this bold and decisive decision of our president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, should inspire confidence, not just in the judiciary, but of course, among Ghanaians, every state institution, and of course, the international community. Transparency International, one of the organizations, international organizations that grade the performance of country with corruption fighting, they are also very pleased with this decision that has been taken. And it builds so much confidence. Even if it's not now, trust me, for the future, we'll always refer to to this particular action, so that the next CJ that will come can always refer that if it happened to her, because I know very well that the former CJ, has been on the bench for more than 30 years. You understand? It doesn't mean that she's perfect. She has erred, and now she's gone home, and that is it. And right now, I'm learning that she's appealed to the presidency to be given her retirement. That is being considered. Of course, she has served her nation, and I'll also support that whatever is due her should be given to her, because she has a family, she has a life to live. She's not attained the retirement age yet, so that at least every benefit that is due her should be given to her, because she has served this country. We shouldn't use this particular offense to punish her to go whatever it is. She's been removed from office, by her entitlement that she deserves should be given to her, so that we move on as a country, my brother.
I said it was my final one, but actually the way you answered it brought me another question. Probably this will be my very final one. You know, the executives led by John Dramani, three arms of government, executive handled by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the legislature, NDC, have a gargantuan majority in parliament, led by NDC, Alban Sumana, Kensford Bagben. Now the judiciary, I put question mark over here. We don't know who is going to lead the judiciary. Do you think the person who will lead the judiciary and the person leading the legislature and the one leading the executive, there would be balance of power with respect to independent arms of government executing their constitutional duty and mandates?
Well, that's a very good question. For me, whatever decisions that they arrive, whether it is the executive, the legislature, the judiciary, it should be for the best interest of the country. That is very important. And if it can be done, then we need to look at the leaders that we elect or appoint to head these institutions. Because I know very well that now, even with the judiciary, they look at seniority when you are being considered for CJ. But you go beyond that. People can be seniors. I mean, when we were in school, we all saw it. People can be seniors, but they are dumped. But we need people with, good character, people with exposure, people that have track record. So that doesn't mean whether you've been at the place for a long time, so you've gained the experience. It's about the track record. It's about your selflessness in helping the nation. It has to do with your dedication. It has to do with your honesty and the way you've been able to do your job. That should also be, based on merit. The same has to do with the legislature. Now, the NDC has a super majority. But I also want to caution them that, look, it is not the end of the world. Democracy is supposed to be interconnected. You need the minority. The minority also needs you. You shouldn't use your position to rubber stamp or to overlord or to, take laws that will be in the net, but they should also consult. Because at the end of the day,
let me have you
have to understand
yes
that
no.
Power is transit.
Right. Let me have you on a yes or no on this very one. Do you think, and sharing the opinion of critics who say this is a judicial coup d'etat, is it or not?
It is not.
Thank you. Let's move on to one other subject that has to do with diplomacy, where John Dramani Mahama and the Foreign Affairs Minister Okudzato Ablakwa they have introduced some key performance indicators for ambassadors. And we are asking, can diplomacy really be measured like corporate performance? And I want your honest view on this. But before we do that, let's go for Okujato Ablakwa's view. And I have about 13 of these KPIs I would love to go through with you.
Sad story. We didn't know about two properties we own, very prime properties in Australia. And some officer managed to steal the documents, then quickly retired, resigned from the service, stayed in Australia, and just took over those two properties. We've lost it. We've tried all kinds of bilateral arrangements. It doesn't look good. The same situation in the UK. So now we have the challenge, we are told, is poor record keeping. Now we've created a student's desk. Then we've also addressed this issue of vehicle leases. The president was very appalled and instructed that if we would engage in a lease, it should be leased to own, not leases that really does not protect the public purse. On my first meeting with staff here, the junior staff made a passionate appeal that you need staff buses. I'm delighted to inform you that the buses, we've gone through the procurement process and the buses have been ordered. In the next few weeks, you are going to have your buses. We fully operationalized the Foreign Service Institute for the work that you are doing. This is another area that we have been very, very successful, and we've received tremendous support from President Mahama. The Candidatures Bureau has done a great job. Virtually all the candidates we have put forward for international positions have development at the AU. Honorable Kwame Adam Senanu also was successfully re-elected, and he's on the AU Advisory Board against corruption. Commission member on the International Law Council, Dr. Odro Osai, was also successfully elected with our full backing and support. On the United Nations Committee of Experts on Public Administration, Dr. Delise Memedako also won her election as the first Director General of the African Medicines Agency. And that was a very fierce contest with another distinguished pharmacist from Morocco. We also won our statutory seats competition we engaged in on the UN Commission for Population and Development for the term 2026 to 2030. We also won the UN Commission on Narcotic Drugs from 2026 to 20.
All right, so Mr. Frank Heymann, let's come back to you. What will be your initial comments? And noting that this is the first ever KPI for ambassadors, what do you make of this?
Stella, in Dutch you say ongelooflijk, heel bereikt. This is exciting, this is good. This is awesome, this is wonderful. When I heard it, I said, wow, this is it. Because let me tell you this story, my brother. Most of the ambassadors that are appointed, they just go there, virtually do anything, nothing. They just go and present their letters of credence to the presidents of the various countries, and they're just there. The only time you see the ambassador is when there is an Independence Day being celebrated. They just go there, wine and dine, and to show off, and they go sleep. And listen, I've been to so many countries, and anywhere that I go, more than 15 countries. Trust me, anywhere that I go, I report to the Ghana embassy where there is. For instance, of course, there's a Ghana embassy in Malaysia, there is in London, there is in the Netherlands, in Belgium, South Africa. Even where there is, like in Malaysia, there is Ghana embassy, but in Thailand, there's not. So it is the embassy in Malaysia that has responsibility for Thailand, where they have the consulate. And trust you me, of all these countries that I go, the ambassadors are not seen. You only see them just when there's an Independence Day celebration. What they do, they go, sleep. They are virtually ineffective. It is only the consuls of the various embassies that are doing their job. So for me, when I heard this, I said, wow, this is awesome. Because as an ambassador, you are representing the interest of the country overseas. You are representing the interest in terms of the economic interest, political interest, educational interest, the opportunities of tourism, investment interest. So beyond your position or beyond the interest that you've been sent there, how do we, mark you, or how do we assess you for performance? And that is it. Because you are in a position of influence as an ambassador. Because, my brother, if you see the kind of enjoyment that these ambassadors, the kind of houses that they ride in, the kind of cars with Ghana flag on it, SUVs, they have at least 2 or 3 different cars. They have their personal assistants. They even have the opportunity to bring in their families over. They're really enjoying. But let's translate that into actions. Because for you to become an ambassador of a country, it has the status of the head of state. That is why we refer to them as His Excellency or the High Commissioner. These are the status. So you should be able to act based on your position. You should be able to have the opportunity to lobby, to bring in investors. Now we know that the trend is that some countries where there are Ghanaian students who are facing a lot of challenges. If you're an ambassador, what steps can you take to lobby, to be able to help, to bring a lot of relief to these Ghanaians? So for me, I commend the government, especially the Foreign Affairs Minister, for this laudable, this bold initiative it has taken. It will make our ambassadors more responsive, more hardworking, for them to know that, look, at the end of the day, your position is based on your performance. Your current position where you are, or position in office, is based on your performance, because there's going to be regular KPI. So they'll sit on their horses. They'll be able to lobby. They'll be able to use their position to bring in a lot of goodies to help. If they begin to do that, trust me, we are going to earn a lot of respect, a lot of dignity, and our economy will progress. So this is awesome, my brother.
Frank, do you have the confidence in John Dramani Mahama, whose video I'm coming to play next, that he will be able to sanction ambassadors when they are not meeting their key performance indicators? Do you have confidence in him?
My brother, I have more than 100% confidence. When it comes to politicians, I'm very, very, magnanimous, and I'm very, reserved, measured in terms of, but with the steps that have been taken so far, it is not just promising, but it has happened before. Recently, I think one of the chief executives of state institution, the salary was cut into half because he used a military bodyguard in contravention of the rules that says that nobody should use military officers. This is action. You remember when everybody was, the appointees were asked to submit, in terms of their assets. You understand? To declare their assets. They give them a timeline. If you are not able to do this, you'll be sacked from office. And they did that. So this alone gives me a lot of hope and confidence that it is not just political talk. Sami JP1 as well, my brother. Sami JP1 as well, which doesn't really merit, because at the end of the day, it was much ado about nothing, trust you me. Right. But for the credibility of the fight for corruption, he was called to the Jubilee House. He was, reprimanded, which is also good. Well, so for me, I have confidence more than ever before that this will definitely work out. And we are going to see the fruit of their labor, because at the end of the day, look, you want to, your CV is also very important. To have that in future, you were an ambassador of Ghana from this period to this period. But if it's also like an ambassador, you were sacked from office, that alone will not adhere to you. And I'm sure none of them are ready to sacrifice their integrity on that particular bad record, my brother.
All right, so let's pick this insert, and when we return, I'll be reading for you and analyzing with you, or breaking it down, the 13 KPIs I have with me over here. This is His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, as he outdoored that KPIs book for all the ambassadors.
A few personalities, Excellency the Vice President, Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman, and also our Royal Majesty King Takite Kochuru II, the Gamanche, and then also our Honorable Foreign Minister Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, and then our members of Parliament and ministers of state, members of the Foreign Service, and indeed, let me just say, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, of our departed colleagues, especially Dr. Omani Boama, who was a member of the Ministerial Advisory Council for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And so if you please rise and just observe a minute's silence. May their gentle souls rest in perfect peace. Amen. You, the envoys who are dispatching, and the 7 envoys who have joined us, are going to be among the most prepared envoys we've ever dispatched in the history of Ghana. Because I've been looking through your course topics. For those of you who don't have this, it details all the things you're going to be taking through and all the people who are going to grant those lectures. And the resource persons are among the best minds we have in this country, and the topics are very well chosen. My uncle Ishmael Yamson just gave you a very good talk, and in his talk he touched on geopolitics, the current geopolitics, and there are several things he said that you should take away. He said the only certainty in this world today is uncertainty. Today, we had the Second World War, and after the Second World War, we created the United Nations, and we had a Cold War. Now, the Cold War created a very predictable world because the superpowers had enough nuclear weapons to destroy this world 100 times over. And so they themselves realized that nobody will survive a nuclear war. And so it made the world predictable, because nobody will start a nuclear war because you can't win it. And then the cold curtain fell, and we entered a unipolar world and the era of globalization. By unipolar world means that America was just the greatest and all the other superpowers had been.
Frank, these are ambassadors who have gone through capacity training courses. John Mahama said we had the best brains in our country to train them, and now they've been given KPIs. And I can just read 5 of them. There are about 13 of them with me here. The first one: secure scholarships and facilitate exchange programs with foreign institutions to enhance Ghana's human capital. The second one has to do with drive a minimum 10% annual increase in tourist travels or tourist arrivals to Ghana to create jobs and boost foreign exchange reserves. Number 3, maintain strict adherence to financial regulations and procurement laws across all missions. Number 4, strengthen Ghana's security interests by improving intelligence sharing and facilitating collaborations with foreign security agents. And the very final one I want to read is inaugurate or reactivate permanent joint commissions for cooperation with Ghana's key partners. These are quite a lengthy one, about 13 of them. I've just gone through 5 of them. I know you have been going through all of them. Frank, let me pick your thoughts on these KPIs.
Yeah, hello?
Yes, can you hear me, Frank?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, sure.
Grateful. So I've gone through, out of 13, 5 KPIs, where especially the number 2, very key to me, drive a minimum 10% annual increase in tourist arrivals to Ghana to create jobs and boost foreign exchange reserves. What do you make of all of that? And I was saying earlier on that these are first ever ambassadors who have been trained on a course. And the president said, we have best brains to train these people on some great topics. And he couldn't believe. What do you make of all of this?
Absolutely. I mean, and it's great. And I'm happy that at least, and trust you me, with the current ambassadors that has been appointed, when you look at their background, they have the experience, they have the exposure, they have the technical know-how. And adding value is when they went through this course to add value. Now, I am more than optimistic because you know why? My brother, there's a goodwill for Ghana everywhere you go across the world. When you mention Ghana, the goodwill is there because of the peaceful nature, because of the tourist attraction area. There are certain personalities that are synonymous to Ghana. When you mention Ghana, oh, Kwame Nkrumah, Ghana. Wow. I mean, I remember very well, I was in Malaysia, in Thailand. I mean, I did a UN program in Southeast Asia. So I went to Singapore, I was in Malaysia, I was in Thailand, and I went to Philippines. And, that's about 15 years ago. And I remember very well that from my hotel going to the conference venue, I normally use the taxi. So when you stop the taxi, the driver will just look at you first before he opens the door. Please, which country you come from? Nigeria? I said, no, 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 no. And then I said, why don't you say Nigeria? So I said, yes, Nigeria. Then the guy just spread off. He ran away. Then I had to wait for some few other minutes. Another car came. They asked me, sir, which country? Country you come from? Also, I'm from Ghana. Oh, yeah, Malaysian. Oh, good, good, good. Ghana people, good. Sit down, my friend. Sit down, my friend. The guy just took me in. And when we got there, he said, don't pay, don't pay, don't pay. Sawadee Pratana, Tunaipa. He said, Ghana, good people, Nigeria, bad people. I mean, I'm not saying this, to create any bad blood between us. I'm giving you an analogy. Nevertheless, I mean, Nigerians are good people. Most of my friends, when I was in school, they are Nigerians. In fact, I was attending a Nigerian church, Redeemed Christian Church I was a singer, a choir, singing with them. We eat. They are good people. But you see, it has to do with the fact that Ghana has a goodwill by grace. Right. And we need to leverage on that. And I'm happy that our people have, have got that goodwill. Of course, they are bad Ghanaians, trust you me. But we should be able to use what we have to get what we want. And with our tourist attraction areas, with our gold, with our oil, and very importantly, with the peace that we're experiencing here, trust me, the last election, Ghana once again came out tops because we did what was never done. In terms of the political opponents, less than 24 hours after the elections, he called the winner and said that, look, from the margin, I can see that, look, you are going to be the president. And I commend former President Baumia for that bold step he took, which has given us a lot of integrity, a lot of goodwill that the new ambassadors can leverage on to rake in tourists, very importantly, because the tourists, they have the money, they have the spending money. And that's very important. And I also hope that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs will also promote Ghana on the international channels like the BBC, like CNN, VOA, SABC. Recently, I saw Ashasi University. They were promoting their school on CNN and on BBC. If Asahi University can do it and it's working for them, why not as a country? We need to produce a compelling documentary, whether it has to do with a commercial promoting us, on the major network. It will help us because when you do it, it will also good. And let me end by saying that, look, it's about time we tell our own story. I remember when I was out there, when I went out about 20 years ago to study, I remember one of my course-mates who was an American. He says, what are you coming to do here? I mean, there's nothing here. We are already developed. Go back to your country. There are opportunities in developing countries more than developed countries. And it's like, wow, this is really deep. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to come back, so that we come together, so that we tell our own story. Because at the end of the day, when we as journalists, we meet outside the country and we query, I remember sometimes we query the international press. You meet colleagues from the CNN and from other, they say, why do you always promote negative stories about Africa? He says, look, because that is what our audience want to see. If you want people to believe your story, you have to tell your own story. And that is what we have to say. And to work out, and I know it will together. Because Ghana is bigger, mega, better. And together we can make it, my brother.
All right, so 2 minutes of your time, then we call it done this evening. A minute on each subject. One has to do with the performance of the Ghana cedi. I know you are an international business person and you deal with the dollar much more. The Bloomberg says Ghana cedi is the worst in the third quarter of this year. And also, just a bite of what is happening in the New Patriotic Party, where Kennedy Japan is complaining, indicating that they are asking for a development fee of 4 million Ghana cedis after paying 100 for picking of nomination forms and filing fee of 500, making 600,000. and another 4 million Ghana cedis. Just your take on the performance of the Ghana cedis and the NPP.
Well, with the performance of the Ghana CD, for me, I believe that where there is day, there should be night. Where there is low, there should be high. When it goes high, it must come low. So I'm not surprised at all. Because at a point, I was very concerned when the city was just going high and the foreign currencies were dropping. I was like, wow, it was very scary. You see, so whatever it is now, it is part of the process. Economics is that when you go up, you have to come down. When you go down, you have to come up. There should be volatility. There should be performance. There should be that kind of wave. And I'm happy that at least with where it is now, it is not just bad. It is not really that bad. If we're to be in another administration, by now we should be about 20. The dollar should be, I mean, $20 Ghana city, $20 to 20 Ghana city to the dollar. But I'm hoping that the management of our economy will take bold and decisive decision, because at the end of the day, what is being done to encourage investors? Because now, as we speak now, there's a 24-hour economy. The 24-hour economy is supposed to increase our economic growth, increase revenue, and increase performance of the working class. So I think that at least the managers of the economy should go back on the drawing board and do things better. Because at the end of the day, when the city, in fact, there is a performance of the city positively, it should be able to impact, on the businesses of the country. Businesses must also be ready to consider and reduce their prices, and that's what we are also not doing. You understand? When that happens, it doesn't ensure confidence. So I'm just hoping and praying that the managers of our economy should be able to forecast whatever they did right for the city to become the best performing. They should go back to the drawing board and make sure that it moves from worst to better and become best. Because I know that it can be done with the goodwill that we have, with the economy doing well, and the fact that we have, a lean government. You see, government so far has put in place that kind of measures. The goodwill has set the example. Now, if you are traveling as ministers of state, you have to use economy class. This never happened before, my brother. That alone is positive. Now, we also have to ensure that we have to deal in city. We need to have confidence in the city. So international organizations, the hotels, whatever it is, should charge in cities. And even in my job now, I'm compelled to charge in city, though sometimes it's not really comfortable. But for the interest of the country, my brother. And let me
Let's
end
talk
on
about the NPP. Yes.
the NPP, our good old NPP. I mean, listen, I always wish and pray that the NPP should succeed. Because if NPP succeed, it inures to our democratic journey as a nation. I'll never wish ill for the NPP. They've been in government before. They've introduced policies whilst they are in government. But I also think that they need to do enough retrospect. For the past elections, the margins that they've suffered, they should go back to the drawing board, because all is not well within the ranks and file of our biggest opposition party, the NPP. There's so much disunity, there's fragmentation, there is mistrust, there's tribalism, there is money consciousness, as I put it, sicadacious. Because look at the amount that was spent for those who want to, aspire for political office. Come on. When that happens, my brother, you are trying to, monitorize the political system, and that will not augur well. So people will say that, okay, good. If now it's all about money to get a position in the party, that can also help me to become a minister of state in the future. Then let me do whatever I have to do to get that money, so that when I win power and I get the office, I'm going to get back the money from any means possible. So I wish and I hope and pray that the NPP should go back to the drawing board. They should listen to their council of elders, because unfortunately they've sidelined some of the old guys with the experience and the influence, like President Kufuor. You heard what he said recently when Brian Champon went to visit him. You understand? We need to acknowledge, because the NDC and NPP, they are, unfortunately, let me put it that way, the two biggest parties that we have. I wish there would be a third force. But these two parties will make it impossible for a third force. So we have to contend with what we have. So with the NPP, I hope and pray that they'll go back to the drawing board, put their house in order, let unity prevail. I mean, reduce the edge for money in terms of monetarization, you understand, of the political monocracy. It is not good enough. It sets a bad precedent for the future generation. One Ghana, one love. May God bless all of us, my brother.
Thank you very much. His name is Frank Heymann, media
The
personnel.
Black President.
The Black President. Thank you very much, Frank. Asemi
Hey, yes, sir. That's it, man. Yes, sir.
I thank you very much. So his name is Mr. Frank Heymann. We call him the Black President. He's been engaging with us since the beginning of the show, from governance to diplomacy, now to economy and some few politics on the New Patriotic Party. Thank you very much, Frank Heymann, for joining us as seasoned media personnel. When I come back, we wrap up the show in just a second. Please stay with me. It's the Sunday edition of Pulse of the Week with yours truly, Kofi Asante Mensah, here on NSG News. Right back to wrap up with you. All right, so thank you very much, and this is how we wrap up the show for today, Sunday, the 7th of September, 2025. My name is yours truly, Kofi Asante Mensah, and I want to say a big thank you to all of you, especially our special guest, Frank Heymann, who joined us on Zoom for intellectual discourse today. To my producer and all the crew, thank you very much. We have been discussing several things relating to governance and more of the Justice Tokonu's removal, and also something to do with diplomacy and the economy. KPI has been introduced for the ambassadors who have been trained to go out there and perform with the KPIs, and also Ghana City's performance by Bloomberg, analysis by Bloomberg. Latest survey report says that performing currency in our country or in the world, Ghana's CD is the worst in the world. We have been unpacking all the stories for you. My name is Kofi Asante Mensah, and there has been Pulse of the Week on NSG News. And until we meet again, it's a goodbye from here.